Hello Moto GP enthusiasts. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati team manager Davide Tardozzi offered a candid assessment of Marc Márquez after Mugello, describing the rider as physically tired but encouraged by the successful outcome of his recent surgery. Tardozzi praised Márquez's bravery and competitiveness in the early race phases, while acknowledging that full match fitness will take several rounds to rebuild. He also paid tribute to Aprilia's current form and analysed Pecco Bagnaia's podium run. Carlo Pernat hailed Aprilia's Mugello weekend as a watershed moment and argued the RSGP has become the benchmark. He praised Bezzecchi and Jorge Martín, warned that Marc Márquez's title hopes are effectively over this year given his injuries, and suggested Ducati and Dorna share responsibility for the shifting competitive balance. Toprak left Mugello encouraged despite losing a late point to a track limits penalty. The Pramac rider highlighted setup gains, better engine braking and a clearer direction with the Yamaha, while also urging Ducati to consider promoting World SBK leader Nicolo Bilega to Moto GP. Fabio Quartararo reflected on his difficult season, defended his decision to stay with Yamaha, and rejected rumors that he discouraged Pecco Bagnaia from joining Yamaha. He acknowledged frustration with the M1's development but framed his criticism as constructive and stressed the need for consistent updates to restore confidence. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Tardozzi summed up Márquez's state in one word: tired. He stressed that the surgery resolved the nerve issue, and that now the priority is time and progressive conditioning to restore full race fitness. He was very brave and a real fighter in the first half of the race. He can give even more when he's fit. Medical clearance is only the first step. Rebuilding endurance and strength after repeated shoulder operations is a gradual process. Despite fatigue, Tardozzi highlighted Márquez's competitiveness in the opening stages, particularly his battles with other front-running riders. The team sees the Mugello weekend as a positive working outing that validated the surgical objective. We should be happy with the race he had, knowing that he can give even more when he's fit. Early race intensity followed by late race drop-off is typical for riders returning from long layoffs. The key metric is complication-free running. On Pecco Bagnaia's third place, Tardozzi praised his defensive ride on the final corner but pointed to tire usage as the limiting factor. Bagnaia used a lot of rear tire early and paid for it later. He had a great first half of the race, but he used up so much of the rear tire that he had nothing left. Rear tire conservation remains a central development focus for Ducati to unlock more consistent late race pace. Tardozzi openly acknowledged Aprilia's strong package at Mugello, calling their performance fantastic and admitting it hurts a lot to be behind. He nevertheless vowed Ducati will keep fighting and promised race wins will come. Hats off to Aprilia, we will never give up, not even in this championship. Public recognition of a rival's superiority can sharpen internal focus. Ducati's response will likely prioritize rear grip and balance improvements. Asked about the crowd's changing tone toward Márquez, Tardozzi suggested that getting to know the rider personally would soften critics. He implied that Márquez's character and conduct deserve more understanding from the public. If people could get to know the man, Marc Márquez, they wouldn't say some of the things they say about him. Off-track reputation and fan sentiment can influence a rider's environment. Supportive public perception helps recovery and morale. Davide Tardozzi's assessment frames Mugello as a constructive checkpoint. The surgery achieved its neuro goal. Márquez proved he can race without the previous numbness, but endurance and full strength remain works in progress. Ducati recognizes Aprilia's current edge and will target technical fixes, notably rear grip and tire life, while managing Márquez's workload carefully to avoid setbacks. Expect a measured ramp-up in his race minutes and continued development focus from the factory as the season moves on. Pernat called Aprilia's performance at Mugello incredible, saying the team has moved into Ducati's traditional territory and now sets the standard on the grid. He believes Aprilia's two riders are currently superior to the rest. I think Aprilia is a benchmark today. When a manufacturer overturns a long-standing hierarchy, it forces rivals to rethink development priorities and race strategy. Pernat singled out Marco Bezzecchi's form and Jorge Martín's consistency, arguing both riders are in a class of their own this season. He suggested Aprilia's strength makes them the team to beat, and that only internal mistakes could derail their title bid. Two riders like Bezzecchi and Martín are currently superior to everyone else. Having two top-level riders gives Aprilia both depth and tactical flexibility across a long season. Pernat was blunt about Marc Márquez. The shoulder problems and recovery mean he is unlikely to contest the 2026 title. He argued Márquez may be prioritizing preparation for next season rather than chasing points now. It's clear the World Championship is practically lost. A top rider returning from repeated shoulder surgery faces a steep path back to peak performance. Realistic targets often shift from immediate results to long-term recovery. Pernat acknowledged Ducati's role in the sport's evolution, but also pointed to regulatory or concession decisions that have helped rebalance the championship. He said both merit and blame lie with Ducati and the organizers for the current landscape. They have both merit and blame for having rebalanced the championship with these concessions. Technical concessions and rule changes can rapidly alter competitive order. Manufacturers must adapt development strategies accordingly. Pernat concluded that Aprilia's Mugello statement makes them the team to beat and that the championship narrative has shifted. He implied the coming rounds will test whether Aprilia can sustain this level and whether rivals can respond before the season's midpoint. A dominant home weekend can be a momentum springboard, but sustained success depends on development, reliability, and how rivals counter. Carlo Pernat sees Mugello as a turning point. Aprilia has emerged as the benchmark. Bezzecchi and Martín are genuine title threats, and Márquez's recovery reshapes Ducati's immediate prospects. The next rounds will reveal whether Aprilia can convert this peak into a season-long advantage or whether rivals will close the gap through technical updates and tactical responses. Toprak was penalized for exceeding track limits on the final lap, which cost him the single point for 15th. He shrugged off the loss, calling the weekend a step forward and stressing that finishing position alone didn't capture the progress made with the bike. It's not a big deal. I would have finished 15th without the penalty. Small setbacks matter less when the underlying setup and rider confidence are improving. The team found a setup change that significantly improved engine braking and corner speed in FP sessions, which Toprak credited for his stronger feeling on the bike. He reported better braking confidence and lap times in the 1:45s on the medium tire, a clear sign the adjustments were working. This morning's bike was completely different, and I felt much better. Engine braking tuning can transform a rider's ability to stop and turn the M1, especially for riders transitioning from different braking philosophies. Toprak described a race in which he found rhythm, battled with Quartararo and Morbidelli, but then suffered front and rear tire degradation after repeated attacking attempts. He noted lap time drop-off late in the race as a consequence of pushing for overtakes. I burned through the front tire trying to overtake him on the exit of the corner. Managing tire life while hunting positions is a delicate trade-off that often defines mid-pack outcomes. A recurring clutch problem and KTM/Ducati's straight-line speed left Toprak unable to match rivals on the long runs, even when he was competitive through the corners. He highlighted the difficulty of converting cornering gains into overtakes when top speed is lacking. I couldn't overtake the KTMs. They're incredibly fast on the straights. Resolving mechanical niggles and aerodynamic or power shortfalls is essential to turn improved cornering into consistent race gains. Toprak endorsed Nicolo Bilega for a Moto GP move, arguing the World SBK leader has a Moto GP-ready style and would thrive with Ducati's support. He also praised Andrea Iannone's bagger racing and reflected on the incremental progress he's making with the Yamaha setup. I think Bezzecchi deserves Moto GP. Ducati would be the best option for him. Rider promotions from Superbike to MotoGP are often judged on style compatibility and manufacturer ties. Bezzecchi's Ducati background strengthens his case. Toprak Razgatlioglu's Mugello weekend was a mix of technical progress and lingering limitations, meaningful setup gains and better engine braking, but persistent straight line and tire management issues. If Pramac and Yamaha can stabilize clutch behavior and preserve the engine braking improvements, Toprak should start races from a stronger baseline, and Balaton Park's different profile could offer a better platform to convert those gains into points. Quartararo rejected the idea that signing on with Yamaha was a mistake. At the time of the decision, he was working closely with engineers and believed in the project. Only in hindsight, amid current struggles, does it look questionable. When you're in the moment, you don't see it as a mistake. Riders often judge team moves by long-term development trajectories rather than single seasons. Quartararo is signaling patience with Yamaha's V4 project. He argued that Yamaha's shift to the V4 and the decision to stop developing the 2025 inline for limited short-term competitiveness. Quartararo believes more carryover updates from 2025 could have helped this season, but accepts the factory's strategic direction. Yamaha had already decided to develop the V4 and had stopped working on the 2025 bike. Platform changes can create transitional performance dips. The key is how quickly the new architecture can be refined. Quartararo admitted he has been outspoken and sometimes harsh in public, but explained that his intent is to push for improvements. He says he's moved toward a calmer approach while still doing his job and providing honest feedback to the team. I was sometimes a bit harsh in my criticism. It's my way of trying to improve things. Constructive criticism from a lead rider can accelerate development if channeled through engineering processes. Quartararo recalled early nerves when joining the factory Yamaha seat once associated with Valentino Rossi, admitting he worried about Italian fans' reactions. He says that initial anxiety faded as he settled into the role. I was afraid of the reaction from the Italian fans. Then it passed. Replacing a national icon brings extra scrutiny. Managing that pressure is part of a rider's off-track challenge. Quartararo denied rumors that he influenced Bagnaia's decision not to join Yamaha, calling such claims baseless. On safety commission attendance, he argued meetings should be mandatory or meaningful, otherwise he sees little point in participating. It's not true, people say things without knowing the facts. Public denials help clear the air. On safety, Quartararo wants tangible outcomes rather than symbolic consultations. Fabio Quartararo's interview mixes realism with resolve. He accepts Yamaha's strategic choices while urging faster development and steadier updates. His public candor is intended to spur progress, not sow discord, and he remains focused on extracting performance despite a challenging run of results. If Yamaha can stabilize the M1's handling and tire behavior, Quartararo expects to regain the confidence that made him a title contender. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!